There's a lot I haven't spoke about. My childhood was shit. It was very chaotic. My mum and dad split up. I just felt like there was no love or no structure there. My dog was the closest thing that I ever had to me and my wife. I used to mask all my fucking demons with drugs and alcohol. There was no amounts that I wouldn't take.
Playing with death.
Yeah, and for what? I was at rock bottom and I'm like, you gotta fucking stop. I used to Google easiest way to kill yourself. Don't run away from your problems. There's harder things in life. If you want something, you gotta work for it. Just do your best. No one's perfect and we make mistakes and it's a part of life. You gotta surround yourself with the right people that are gonna pull you up if you fuck up. I've got a girlfriend now, her name's Katie. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I used to say the Olympic Games was my greatest achievement, but she's by far my greatest achievement in life. I don't give a fuck who I cry in front of now. If I feel like crying, I'm gonna cry. There's nothing wrong with it. It's normal. Can't explain it. I'm a new person.
Really?
I'm a new person.
Before we jump into today's episode, I have a small favor to ask from you. If you've gotten any value from any of the podcasts, any of the content that I have put out, please hit the subscribe button. It honestly helps me so much. It helps this channel in growing. And as you've seen, as the channel grows, the guests get bigger and better, which means I can provide more knowledge and more value to you, the listener. Thank you and enjoy today's episode. Luke Jackson, thank you so much for making the trip out here from, is it Alexandria, is it?
Yeah.
Hour in traffic.
Yeah, it was a big mission, but, well worth it.
To bring your passport or what?
No, I'm looking at going back, so.
I think where I want to start, and I start a lot of my podcasts like this, is for myself and for the listeners, what context do I need to know about you to better understand the man that sits in front of us today?
There's a lot. There's a lot that goes on with everyone, I think. A lot that people don't see. You only let people see what you want them to see.
Especially in the world of social media.
Yeah,
lights.
So there's so much more that goes on in the world that people don't understand. This is why I'm a big believer in just trying to be nice, trying to be a good person, because people are struggling on a daily basis and you don't really understand what goes on, when behind the scenes,
What was your childhood like?
Shit.
Yeah.
Rubbish.
Why so?
It was very chaotic and my mum and dad split up and I just felt like there was no love or no structure there.
Between them or to you?
To me, I felt I was put in welfare and care, and I just remember getting shipped all over the place. I remember ringing my parents saying when I'm allowed to come home. I remember sitting on the doorstep when I was a kid, waiting for my mum to come and get me, but she never did. I remember being taken up to my mate's house, and my mum wanted me to stay there, and I didn't want to, and so I ran back home, and my mum was in the kitchen, and she's on the phone, like asking where I am. And I remember touching, saying, "I'm here," and she's like, "Get out." So my sister and her friend tied me in a pram and pushed me up there. Like I was 6 or 7 years old, and the only reason that I ended up being comfortable staying at my mate's house is because his mum said I could sleep in my clothes, and I thought that was a pretty cool thing, that I could do that. So I ended up staying there. But this was constant, man. I remember being shipped to different houses, and it was just never home. It was shit. It was. I remember having to run out of the house many times. I'm not sure why. I still don't know why. But my older sisters would, grab me and run out, and we'd just sit outside and just wait for whatever was going on in the house to calm down. And it was shit, man. I think then that affected my schooling, and the rest of it.
Are you the youngest?
No, I've got one younger sister. I've got two younger sisters, right?
Are there two older ones or?
No, I've got 7 sisters and
holy shit,
and 2 brothers, but they're all different mums and dads.
Yeah, okay.
Before my mum and dad got together, my mum had 2 kids and my dad had 3. Then my mum and dad got together, had me and my sister. And then my mother had an affair and fell pregnant, and my dad thought it was his kid. And then my sister was born, and my dad thought it was his. And then Dad found out that it wasn't, and they split up. And then my dad got with another girl and had another kid. And then the father of the kid that my mum had ended up killing himself. And then my stepfather killed himself not long after, like a different. I was a fucking
wow. How old are you when all this is happening? Under 16?
Yeah. It was madness. I've got a girlfriend now. Her name's Katie. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me. You know, I used to say the Olympic Games was my greatest achievement, but she's by far my greatest achievement in life. You know, she's really helped me become a better person in every way, you know, because everyone can be a fucking bit of a dickhead at times and do the wrong thing, and, you know, I'm no different, but she's really helped me. And I see her family and I'm just like I don't get it, you know, like I'm just like, I thought my childhood was normal until I see this, you know, and I've got a lot of damage done that I don't even realise that it's done, you know, and the way I react to certain things is because of the way I was brought up, you know. So there's a lot of bullshit that I've got to unpack still, that I'm trying to work on. But yeah, my childhood was shit, man. I hated it. I hated every minute of it. And, you know, I love my mum. May she rest in peace. I love my dad. But it was shit. I hated it.
Your dad's still around?
Yeah, Dad's.
Do you have a good relationship with him after everything?
Yeah, look, I love my dad, you know. Our family's a bit funny, you know. We can go a year or two without even speaking to each other, and, you know, that's normal. You know, that's no issue, you know, for us. And then see him and say, hey, Dad, how are you? You know, like, we're just built that way, brother, you know.
Was there a period of resent or anger towards him for your upbringing?
Nah, I don't. I used to get upset about my mum, of why she did what she did and the way she was, how she was, and, you know, I come to peace with that. And when she was, you know, she had a big drinking problem, and, you know, she always used to only ring me when she wanted money, you know. And my way of making feel like I was being a good son would just give her money, you know. And that was not the best way to do it. But, you know, unfortunately, you know, I had to tell her that I didn't want, I stopped talking to her at one stage I didn't speak to my mum for 7 years nearly, you know. And then I started speaking to her again, and then she was always just ringing saying, hey, it wouldn't even be hey, it'd be like, Luke, can I get some money off you? Like, I'm like, Luke, can I get some money off you? I'm like, yes, sweet. Okay. And I just send up $50, $100, and I started getting sick of it. So I was asleep one day, and I got a call, can I get some money? And I'm like, yeah. So I sent it through, and then I went back to sleep and woke up. I had a voice message from her saying she's very disappointed in me. The money is not in her account, and how could I do that to her? And I was just like, how the fuck could I do that to you? Like, what about what you done to me? You know, like, this is what I was thinking. I'm like, fuck this, you know, it's fucking doing my head in. So I just cut her off. I didn't speak to her for maybe a month, and she was pretty sick, you know. And then I thought, she kept trying to ring, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to be a man here. And I answered the phone and said, hey, Mum. She's like, hey, Luke. She's like, can I get some money off you? And I said, Mum, do you notice, like, I haven't answered the phone for, like, the last month and a bit? She's like, yeah. I said, do you have any idea why? She's like, no. I said, because every time you ring me, you just ask for money. I said, you make me feel shit. Like, I don't feel good about myself because, like, you just ring me for money. I said, if that's what you want, I said, I'll send you $5,000 now and we'll just be done with it. We'll cut ties if that's all you want from me. And she's like, no, I'm sorry. This, that, I'm sorry. You know. And I said, okay, thank you for saying sorry. And I sent her $50. I said, go and get some smokes, yeah? that was fine. She sent me a message saying sorry again. The next day I was going to Canberra, and I was there training my girlfriend's friend. And whenever my phone rings, before, if it was my mum, my nan, or my dad, I'd answer it no matter what I was doing. So I was back on good terms with my mum. So my phone rang. And I answered it. I stopped training the person. I answered. I said, "Hey, Mum, how are you?" She goes, "Hey, Luke, can I get some money off you?" And I go, "Didn't you fucking listen to anything I said yesterday?" And she's like, "Well, what?" I said, "All good, Mum. See you later." And I hung the phone up. Right? I didn't know, but after this, she took morphine and killed herself. Yeah?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so this was a fucking, this is something that, you know, my sister found her. She was unresponsive. And, you know, then they got her and they took her to hospital, tried to revive her, but she didn't come good. You know, she ended up dying in the Whittle ward because she was very sick and she just didn't recover, you know. And I tried to get down there to see her before she passed away because it was COVID. And I was fucking trying so hard to get down there. I just wanted to give her a cuddle, you know. And it was a shit time, man, because I was trying to get down there and I couldn't get an exemption, and then I finally got one, and I sleep with my phone on like silent, you know. And I remember waking up and I got the pass to go down the next morning, and I just woke up at like 2 a.m. I look at my phone and it's ringing. It's my sister, and I just knew straight away. And I picked the phone up. She goes, "Oh, she's gone. Mum died." I'm like, for fuck's sake, you know. And but like, I didn't cry. I didn't shed any tears.
What were you feeling?
A lot of anger.
Why?
I don't know. You know, it wasn't until later on, until now, I'm understanding a little bit. Like, I haven't cried for many years, you know, for so long, and I was just bottling everything up. And when Mum died, I got so angry. Like, I got charged over abusing a parking inspector for giving me a ticket because he was being smart. So I wanted to know, and then he gave me 2 tickets, and I wanted to know why he gave me 2 tickets. So he went and got in his car, so I knocked on his window and tried to undo his door. And then he locked the door, and he said that I punched the window. I've had over 150 boxing fights. If I punched the window, I would have smashed it, you know?
Yep.
The way he's saying I punched it. Anyway, I got charged for intimidation, had to go to court. My face was on the paper. It was fucking embarrassing. Because that's not who I am, but I just got really angry. So scenarios like this would happen. I'd jump out of cars if people toot the horn at me. I'd be running, and if someone was looking at me, I lost the plot.
Just getting triggered.
I was getting triggered so bad. And it wasn't until my dog died, Chevy. So my dog was the closest thing that I ever had to me in my life, you know? He was 13 and a half, and he died in February 17th. And he got sick. So he got sick, and he started pissing blood, so I had to take him to the vet, obviously. And then he had a disease where he had no platelets, so his body was attacking itself. And I said, "Look, I need to try and save the dog." I spent $50,000 trying to save this dog. And I had him home 2 weeks, and then he fucking died on me, brother. Like, it was the worst thing I've ever experienced my whole life, you know? And I fucking cried, brother. And I cried, and I cried, and I fucking still cry. I cried the other day again. And that's him there. Wow.
Oh, okay.
Fuck me. And like the pain that I felt from that was horrendous. I can't explain. I've never felt pain like that my whole life, you know? When my mum died, it was different, bro, because like my mum's never been there for me, really, you know? I felt sad for her. And at the funeral, I got up and I spoke at the funeral, and I looked on my brothers and sisters crying, and I felt like I was a fucking bad guy. You know, why am I the bad guy? But like, I just had no connection with her, you know? And I used to mask all my fucking demons with drugs and alcohol, you know? And now I'm sober, and then my dog dies on me. Even though I was sober when Mum died, I still didn't have that connection with her, brother. And this little dog that I had was always there, brother, for the last 14 years nearly. Fuck, hardest thing, brother. And like, I can't imagine what people must go through that lose their children. You know, I'm not a dad. I want to become a father really badly. And man, that's fucking pain.
I couldn't imagine. I'm sitting here thinking right now.
So, yeah, man, my childhood was hard, you know, really hard.
Coming back to your mum for a second, you said she called you and she asked for money again because she didn't listen, and you hung up the phone, and then you said she overdosed on morphine. Did you blame yourself a bit there?
Oh, look, I think if someone's going to do that, they probably already made their mind up.
Yeah.
You know, they just need like the last straw, you know. I blame myself for a lot of things with my mum, like why didn't I just go down and fucking talk some sense into her, or, you know, like, I don't know, man, like it's just funny because I've done more for other people than what I have my mother, because I didn't have a connection with her, you know, like I just didn't have a connection, and it's fucking sad. And I want, you know, pardon me, when I have a kid, I want to have a connection with my children. You know, I want to be there for them. I want them to see that I struggle, that it's okay to struggle, that, you know, I'd love, no matter what they do, I'm going to love them and just be there for them, you know. I grew up by myself, bro. Like, you know, when my mum and dad stood up, I ended up moving in with my dad, and then my dad found a new girlfriend, which is now his wife, which, you know, she's a beautiful lady. Her name is Tracy. But they lived in another house, brother, and I was there by myself. You know, I lived in this house by myself from like the age of fucking 13 or 12 to 13 until, you know, 17, 18 years old. Grew up by myself in this house. Like, always by myself, bro. Like, smoking marijuana, taking dexamphetamines, drinking, stealing, fucking doing whatever I can to fix my drug habit, you know, of smoking weed. Yeah. That's all I did. I smoked weed. I had a couple of dexamphetamines, an acid trip at one stage, but I was just a thug. You know, I left school in grade 7, or end of grade 7, had no education, just a fucking a kid that hated the world, brother, you know, and I had no direction, no discipline. You know, I'd go into school, they said, take your hat off. I said, no. They said, take your hat off. I said, no. So get out and I'd leave. I didn't give a fuck. You know, I was smoking cigarettes. I got caught. I'd walk to the principal's office with a cigarette in my mouth. You know, I had no, I thought I was so tough, bro.
Yeah.
I thought I was so tough, and it wasn't until I started boxing I thought, I've got no idea what I was even, like, I just bluffed a lot of people because I just didn't care, bro.
How'd you get into boxing?
Well, I stopped smoking weed in the year 2000. So I haven't smoked weed for 23 years, which is a pretty good achievement when you are addicted to marijuana. It's a hard smoke to get off. So I met a guy named Chris Polly and Nathan Polly at a underage nightclub, and yeah, we hit it off, and they said they were boxers. I liked the way people treated them because I had no attention when I was a kid, bro. Like, no attention. And I liked the attention these guys got. And I'm like, wow, this is cool, you know? And I used to watch Bruce Lee movies, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Chuck Norris, Steven Seagal, all this, and pretend I was fighting them in the lounge room, you know, when I was a kid. Always liked it, you know. I love Bruce Lee. So I'm like, I'm going to go along and try it. And I went along and tried it, and, you know, they said I was a natural, and, you know, it took off pretty quick for me, man. Had my first fight, and my first fight was June 22nd, 2002, and I'm still going.
So how old are you now?
I'm 38.
38, still boxing. Yeah, bro. How's the body feeling?
Yeah, it's cool. I got one more fight in me. I got one more fight, August 16th, so hopefully I'll announce that next week.
Yeah, okay. You've come to terms with retirement?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay now. I was always scared of it, but now I'm okay. I know I'm okay. I'm strong enough now. I've come through the fucking below. I've been through the fucking ringer.
Mm. Sitting here and hearing your journey from childhood to boxing, it kind of gets me thinking about my own father. He had a pretty shit upbringing, boxing and Muay Thai background, bottled up all his emotions, and he still does bottle them up. He hasn't done the internal work yet. For you, what was doing that internal work like, and what did you actually do?
It was hard, man. Fuck, it was so hard. So a lot of people don't know, but pardon me. I'm 800. What is it? Nearly 800 days sober. 786 days sober. You know. When I say sober, I mean cocaine and alcohol and cigarettes and use
Totally clean.
everything. All right. So when I used to be a kid, I used to smoke weed and that. And then from the year 2000, I stopped and I wanted to become an Olympian. Once I started boxing, it took off pretty quick. I went to Commonwealth Games and, you know, and then my sights were set on becoming an Olympic athlete. After the Olympics, I had a girlfriend at the time. Her name was Jayan. I split up with her. We split up, okay? Well, she broke up with me, so that really upset me. Anyway, all my mates used to be over there back in the day, and they'd be going around. I'd have a beer here and there, but they'd hand a plate round, and they wouldn't even bother handing the plate to me because they knew that I wouldn't touch it, all right? And one day they're handing the plate round, and my missus left me, and I was feeling pretty shit, and they handed the plate round, I just grabbed it. There was a line of cocaine on there, and I had a line of cocaine. And from that moment in 2013, I have abused cocaine, like heavily abused it. And a lot of people don't realize that because I was still functioning, like I'd train, I'd work. But the only time I was completely off it is when I had a fight coming up, a professional fight. So before a fight, I would stop 3 months before the fight, you know, and I wouldn't drink, I wouldn't smoke cigarettes, I wouldn't touch cocaine. I'd just be relentless in my preparation to, you know, be the best version of myself, you know. But as soon as that fight was over, I would launch into a massive bender, you know, and like after a 10-round fight, your face all messed up, and I'd already have the stash of coke at home or wherever I was, and I'd just annihilate myself on drugs, you know?
They just totally rebound.
Yeah, just fucking like go for days, brother. And then I'd come, you know, have a big come down, feel really bad about myself, eat shit food, and then I'd do it again. And I'd do it again, and this would go every weekend or mainly every weekend because I was working, but this would happen every weekend, and I'd go really hard until I had another fight locked in. Then I would stop, and I'd make sure I'd stop 3 months before. But then it turned into 8 weeks before, and then 5 weeks before. So it kept getting shorter and shorter, you know, and I kept burning the candle at both ends. Massive training so hard, and I'd train so hard because I'd try and push all the shit out of me,
Make up for
it. But then I'd party harder, you know, like it was fucking sick, mate. And, you know, the people close to me that really know, that were with me, they understand. But a lot of people wouldn't have no idea, mate. Like they've got no idea that from the 2013 to nearly 800 days ago, this is how I lived my life, you know. I blew so much money on that shit. And just rubbish life, bro, you know. And it wasn't until a point where I was at rock bottom, and it was either that or kill myself, you know. And I'm like, you got to fucking stop. And I remember just sitting there. Funny story, I was messaging Tyson Fury on Instagram. I replied to his story, and he goes, "How are you, champ?" I said, "Yeah, I'm all right, just struggling a bit, you know how it is." And he sent me a voice message. He goes, "Yeah, I know how it is, but sounds like you've got to, you know, get your shit together and get another fight locked in, and I guarantee you'll come out the other side." And it wasn't, I'm not going to say it was that message that helped spur me on, but, you know, I remember sitting at my house. It was the 1st of May, 2021, and I was off my head, and it was my sister's birthday, Catherine, so I rang her on FaceTime. I'm saying, you know, happy birthday, fucking drinking whiskey by myself. I started doing it by myself, which was a problem. You know, I started doing coke back by myself in the bedroom.
You know you're addicted when you're doing it by yourself.
I drive home from work on a Tuesday or Monday night. I, you know, I had a roommate at the time, so I put the earphones in my head so I could listen to music so I didn't wake her up. And I'd be sniffing rack, and I'd say I'll just get 2 bags, and the 2 bags would be gone, and I'm trying to get more. The sun's come up. I'm like, fuck, you got to go to work soon. You know, just rubbish, bro. Fucking really sad. And, you know, I after speaking to my sister that day on the phone, no one knew, Bella. No one knew the extent how bad it was. And I said, something's got to give, and I decided that I was going to stop 50 days and train every day for 50 days. And then I said I'd do a year. I said I'm going to do a year of no drinking and no drugs. A month after I did, I was a month sober, I met Katie. I met her at 440, the run.
Yep.
And she was there, and she was with one of my girls that I know. So I went up and said, hey, how are you? My name's Luke. And she's like, hey, I'm Katie. I'm like, hey, what do you do? She goes, oh, I'm a yoga teacher. I'm like, oh, fuck, I want to do some yoga. I said, what's your, where do you work? She goes, it's called Self. And I looked it up on the Instagram. I'm like, oh, is that it? And she's like, yeah. Okay, I said, thanks. I followed them. We got in the car. I was looking through Self's page of this Katie girl, and I found her and followed her. And then I was boxing a couple of days later. She replied to my story, said, I want to do some boxing. I'm like, yep, let's go then. So we met, did some boxing, and then we just become really good friends. And then before you know it, we're seeing each other, and we're still together. And she's the best thing that's ever happened to me. But I've worked so hard on myself, and she's been really good for me to help. I've got OCD, and I've got I take medication for that, but the medication that I've been taking has been making me really tired,
Yeah.
And it wasn't until about 6 months ago I got diagnosed with adult ADHD. So that explains why I liked cocaine so much.
Mm-hmm.
Because they treat ADHD with a stimulant, okay, because we need a stimulant to focus.
Yep.
So that's why I enjoyed cocaine so much, because it would just help me focus, So I'm on Vyvanse. I'm on Vyvanse now, as well as sertraline. So they dropped the sertraline from 200 to 150, and I'm on 50 milligrams of Vyvanse a day. And the change is like, I can't explain it. I'm a new person.
Really?
I'm a new person. If you're not properly medicated, Bella, it's horrendous. I was sleeping like 4 hours during the day. It was like I had chronic fatigue. I would get up, I'd sleep 8 hours, I'd get up, I'd go to work for an hour, hold pads, I'd come home, I'd sleep for 4 hours. I was irritated, I'd get agitated easy, I would fly off the handle, couldn't control my emotions. I was like a little kid.
Yeah, okay. Do you feel the medication, because speaking to people that struggle with depression, anxiety, they take these medications and it kind of numbs them. Do you feel like that numbs who you are?
No, definitely not. Cocaine used to numb me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I abuse that.
And the labels of OCD and adult ADHD, do you attach those labels to your identity? Or how do you go about, what's your relationship with it?
I've got a good relationship with it. If it wasn't for OCD, I probably wouldn't become an Olympian. I was relentless.
Right.
I missed out in Beijing in 2008. I lost to a guy that I've beaten 4 times previously, Paul Fleming, and he beat me by a couple of points to qualify for Beijing. That was the Olympic Games. I had to wait another 4 years to make it happen for myself, and I did. I turned it around. It's been hard, bro. There's been so many ups and downs, and addiction was a big thing. It runs in my family, and I know now that no matter what happens, because when my dog died, that's the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And if I don't go back to drugs and alcohol, then I never will go back to it. Like I used to, people, there's nothing wrong. Like if you can control yourself and do drugs and do alcohol and whatever you want to do, that's fine. But if you're someone like me that can't control themselves, I can't open a bag of lollies and have 1 lolly or 2 lollies. I'll eat the whole fucking bag. And there's people that can go out and have a bag of cocaine and with 3 people and share it. That's fine. If you can do that, do it. I'd need an 8-ball to myself just to fucking, and I'd enjoy sitting by myself and doing it like a fucking idiot. Like a fucking idiot. But that's the past, and the future looks really good, and I want to become a father. I've got a beautiful girlfriend. We've got a nice house. You know?
You got to go through those dark periods to come out the other side, man.
Yeah, man. Jeez.
On your relationship with Katie and coming back to your upbringing, did that affect relationships with partners?
Yeah, definitely. So, all my relationships have been affected by my childhood, you know, my trust in women, my trust in people, especially women. You know, my mother was not really there for me, so if you can't trust your mother, how can you trust anyone else?
Exactly.
You know, so, but that's not fair on everyone because everyone's different, you know, and people make mistakes. You know, I'm not perfect, no one's perfect, and we make mistakes, and it's a part of life, and it's about recognizing the mistakes you make and trying to fix it, you know. You got to surround yourself with the right people that are going to pull you up if you fuck up, and if you fuck up, you got to be able to fix it, and that's one thing that I'm very good at, is if I make a mistake, I can fix it, or I'll fucking die trying, you know.
Speaking about death for a second, you mentioned earlier there was a period where it was either continue taking the drugs, alcohol, or you take your own life. I was reading that you didn't want to live, but you also didn't want to die.
Yeah.
What was that construct?
It's a funny place to be. I didn't care if I did die, but it's not like I wanted to do it. Like, I was like, I used to Google easiest way to kill yourself, you know, like, because I just didn't want to be here, but I didn't want to go through the fucking effort of doing it, you know. I think probably that's why I abuse myself with drugs so much. I can
just hope that might take you out.
There's no amounts that I wouldn't take, you know.
Playing with death.
Yeah, and for what?
Quick one. This podcast is now sponsored by Savvy Beverages, the 100% all-natural brain-boosting nootropics drink. Savvy have actually just revamped all their flavors, and let me tell you, they are amazing. My favorite flavor being the mixed berry, but they also have lime and a new flavor, passion fruit. But I'll be honest, taste is not the only reason why I love Savvy. I used to struggle with coffee, any sort of energy drink, anything that had caffeine in it, I could not have because it would set off anxiety within me. Now, what I love about Savvy is it has a 2-to-1 ratio of caffeine and a little ingredient called L-theanine. Now, here's the kicker. L-theanine allows you to experience the energy boost of caffeine without those pesky anxious side effects. It's honestly a game changer, and it's why I continue to drink Savvy. So if you're interested in trying out Savvy Beverages for yourself, head over to their website at www.savvybeverage.com.au. The link will be in the description. And as a special treat, they're offering an exclusive discount just for you. So use my discount code BETAR20, so that's BETAR 20, during your checkout to receive 20% off your order. Let's get back to the episode.
Well, the boxing's a tough sport, you know, but life's tougher. If you lose a fight, we're in a society where if you lose a fight, you're called a bum. If you know you're a piece of shit, you get put down. Okay, so, and you know, I used to let that get to me. You know, if I lose a fight and I give it my all, then it is what it is. But if I, you know, as long as I get the chance to try and come back and have another go and try again, you know, I'm happy with that, you know, as long as I give it everything I've got. And that's what I'll continue to do. And that's what I've always done. I've always done my best. And if my best isn't good enough on the night, then so be it. You know, if you fall over, you got to get back up. And I've fallen over many times in life and in boxing. If you fall over, you get back up and you try again. And that's the message that I want to give to my kids. And if you have trouble, then, you know, you've got to stand up and keep moving forward.
Yeah, you've built that resilience over time, especially in the boxing game. You're going to get knocked down way more than you fucking stand up on the podium.
Yeah, and, you know, like losing the fights, you know, my girlfriend, she wanted to have a fight. And I said no. And then she kept going, she wanted to do it. And I said, okay, if you want to do it, we've got to do it properly, yeah? So that means training properly. So she trained properly and she did everything I asked, and then she had a fight. And then I'm like, okay, on the way home in the car, I'm like, okay, well done. Congratulations, you've done really well. What next? Is that enough? Or do you want to keep going? She goes, Because I said, like, you won the fight, well done. I said, but if we keep going, there's a big chance that you're going to be driving home on the other end of this, okay? And what I want you to know, it's okay. If we drive home a loser and we lose a fight, it's okay. You do your best, and if you win, you win. If you win well, you win well. If you lose well too. You know, you got to, no one taught me that. You know, it's okay to lose if you try your best. You know, you're not a failure, and it's part of life, okay? So now she's had this, she'll be having her 7th fight tonight. She's won 6.
Yeah, wow.
No, sorry, she's won 5, so she's only lost 1. She's had 6 fights, one loss. And she's fighting tonight in 7 Hills for the Adidas Championship. So if she wins that, she'll be Adidas champion. So she's doing really well. I'm very proud of her. She listens well. And it's a hard sport. And, you know, I think I've got one more in me, and hopefully I can announce that August 16th.
Mm-hmm.
The fight. And that'll be my last one, I think, yeah.
With Katie Boxing, so you're her coach?
Yeah.
What's that dynamic like? How do you say, I'm coach now and I'm your partner?
Yeah, it's very hard, you know, like, because she can sometimes say things to me that she wouldn't say to an actual coach, and I've got to pull her up and say, listen, I won't put up with that. You know, you do as you're told. I'm your coach, you know. I'm your boyfriend at home here. I'm your coach. But it's a tough gig, bro. I get really nervous for when she's fighting. But I've never trained anyone that listens as well as her. She's such a good listener. Like, feels like I'm there playing a computer game, and she does everything I tell her to do in the ring. Like, it's crazy. She's a very good listener, and she's very talented, man. Very talented. I don't know how I got so lucky, but, you know, I think I deserve a bit of luck.
You get there, bro. With boxing, and you mentioned OCD and anxiety as well, you struggle with that?
Yeah, if it's mainly, yeah, OCD and yeah, depression. It's all in one. It's a fucking nightmare.
How'd you still go in the ring and perform with all that happening up here?
I don't know, but it's been really hard at times. One fight, I fought John Alapiano for the WBA Oceania title. It was the worst fucking time of my life, and I couldn't breathe. I felt like I couldn't breathe, you know. But I boxed so well that night. You know, the way I felt. That's why you should never really go off how you feel, you know. I felt really bad, and I boxed really well. You know, I felt really bad, and I've boxed really bad. I felt really good, and I've boxed bad. I felt good, and I've boxed good. You know, like, you just don't know how you feel.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen, you know. You just got to roll with it.
And from the setbacks you've had along this journey, what have been some of the best lessons you've got from them?
Well, I had a problem that my identity was just boxing, and if I lost a boxing fight in Australia, then people would look at me different, you know. But if that's what they want to do, then fuck that, you know. Like, I'm a good person. I treat people well, and that's what matters. Boxing's a short time of your life, believe it or not. Even though I've been doing it half my life, you know, I look to do many other things in my life, you know. And if someone's going to judge you off one fight or one performance, then it is what it is, Billy. You know, that's life. There's harder things in life than boxing, and falling over in life, and, you know, my problem with drugs and alcohol. That's been a mission, bro. Like, because the thing was, I enjoyed getting off my head and just feeling nothing. I really enjoyed that, but, like, the only way to go through your struggle is to face it head on. You know, when Chevy died, you know, I'd cry and I'd feel so close to him, you know, and it was a funny feeling, man. Like, and then I'm like, I don't understand grief. Like, why am I crying now, and then why am I crying tomorrow? Like, I didn't understand it, because I miss him the same. But when I was crying, I felt so close to this little dog. I feel like he was on my lap, you know? It's fucking crazy. So, you know, like, the biggest lesson that I've learned is that with struggle and all that, you just got to face it head on, brother, and just go through it. Don't run away from your problems, because you can't empty the problems, and the problems aren't going to go away in a bottle of alcohol or a bag of cocaine or whatever your method of trying to deal with it is. It's always going to be there until you face it, and it's not now until nearly 800 days sober and clean that I'm sort of trying to, getting my medication sorted, and now I can, because I used to see psychologists.
Yep.
They'd try and talk to me and nothing would go through my fucking head, brother, because I was not medicated right. I was not medicated right. Now I'm medicated right from seeing a psychiatrist. I can sit down and speak to a psychologist and work through the fucking trauma and the shit that I've got to deal with. It's very important that people get medicated if they need medication. People are a bit funny with that because they're like, I don't want to be medicated. But then, like, if they got fucking diabetes, they'll take insulin. Like, what the fuck? It's the same thing. We've got issues. Like, you need tablets for this, you need tablets for that, I would recommend anyone struggling with their mental health to see a psychiatrist, Yeah,
it's a touchy subject because I feel in the mental health industry, everyone's getting diagnosed, everyone's getting prescribed all this medication.
Yeah, because look at the fucking world we live in, and look at the shit that people have had to go through. And look at the shit that people are going through and will continue to go through. It's a fucking ugly place, man.
It is. Do you feel like you'll eventually get off medication and maybe go more natural route, or?
Look, I'll put my hand up to try anything. But at this stage, especially when I'm trying to have another fight, I'll just stick to what I'm doing. I'll have another fight and then we'll speak about it after. It's a big decision, that I've got to sit down with my missus and think about it, I want to be a dad, man, so I've got to be the best version of myself. And if that's medicated or non-medicated, I don't want them to see things that I had to see growing up or deal with shit that I had to deal with,
I feel like you're going to be a great dad from everything that you've gone through. And I can relate to parts of it. So my upbringing, I never had the best relationship with my dad, didn't have the connection with him. And I was like, as soon as I'm a dad myself, I'm going to ensure that I have a beautiful connection with my children. And then now I am a dad. It's like my bond with my daughter is so fucking strong, bro. Because I'm like, you want to break the cycle. You don't want to continue it. And that's our role as a parent.
I'm proud of you, man. It's a massive thing. I can't wait to be a dad. I want to have a little girl. I want to have a little boy. I don't care. But I just picture myself when I think of a kid, I always think to have a little girl and just treat her good, man, spoil her and obviously teach them the right thing in life. But, I want to just be there for them, man. Spend my time with them, It's very important.
You got a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, man. I'm so excited.
My daughter's 1.5 and she's just full of attitude.
Yeah, I can't wait. I really can't wait, man.
So parenthood's a beautiful journey, and coming back to our own upbringings and even your relationship with your mum where she'll just call you for money. And as a parent, our kids owe us nothing. Yeah. We owe them everything. It's our duty to build the foundation to turn up as our best selves so then they can develop into the human being that they need to be. They don't know a shit.
No.
It's our role, it's our responsibility. We chose to create these human beings. Right. So we got to be there for them.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to have these conversations and for you to do the inner work, get on the right medication so you can be the best father, the best partner, the best man. So when it does come time to have children, you're going to be able to turn up for them.
Yeah.
It's fucking important, bro.
Yeah, very important, and just being the best version of myself and, just being a good partner and, being there for my girlfriend and our kids eventually, Katie comes from a great family. Her father is the one that sort of helped me, get on this plan of trying to fix my mental health. He organised where to go and all that, you know. And it's not even my dad is doing this for me. It's just like crazy.
How does that make you feel? Like that someone's there for you?
It's emotional, mate. You know, it makes me very emotional. Like, and her mum, Michelle, she's amazing, and she got an auntie, and uncle Sue and Rob, and they're like her second parents for her. Like, she calls Sue mum as well. Like, and these people do what they do for me is amazing. It's like, I don't get it, you know, but I love it, but I don't understand it. Strange.
Do you want a big family?
Yeah, look, I'd love to have a big family, you know, like, I just, you know, 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids. I'd like to have more than one, but whatever God's got in plan for me, you know, I'm willing to accept and take it, and I'm sure it's all going to be smooth sailing if I do the right thing by myself.
I can feel it, bro. It's going to be a beautiful journey for you.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So after you fire, that's the kind of plan?
Yeah.
Settle down, have a family?
Next year, man, I want to become a father, so that's the plan, you know. It's a hard job, I'm sure, like, and it's never ends, but I'm ready for it. And if I'm not ready, I don't think I'll ever be.
I don't think
anyone's ever ready.
You're never ready, bro.
People always say, there's no perfect time, just do it. You know, like, it's just like, I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. I was 24 when I found out my partner was going to be pregnant, was pregnant, and I went for a bit of a dark patch there because I can't even look after myself. How am I going to look after a child? But, man, they don't come with an instruction manual, so no one knows what they're doing. You just got to do the best.
Just do your best, brother. Just do your best, and that's what you're doing, my man. You're doing a great job, and you know you're giving people a voice, and that's what it's about. You're giving back to the people and help spreading, you know, good advice to people, and you know that's amazing, bro. So you should be proud of yourself.
I definitely am, bro. We have a bunch of questions here. So it's from 1 to 22, and I'll get you to pick a number, and then that's the question. So 7. What's the deepest thing you have gone through, and how did you overcome it?
The deepest thing there's been a few that, like, recently was Chevy dying. You know, people might think that's funny, but that dog to me saved my life. When I used to be on massive benders, he was the only one there with me, you know. He would always be there with me, walking around, carrying him. That's always on my arm because I'd just walk around off my head, and he'd sit there with me for days. But, like, losing him was a hard thing to deal with. And I've still not come to terms with it, and I still can't believe it's happened. And the way I got through it is I haven't, you know, I'm just feeling it, you know. It's okay, you know, like, some days you're going to feel better than others, and I don't think I'll ever get over it, but the way I've dealt with it is I've just stayed true to myself, you know. Like, by me getting on the drink and doing drugs, it would be a waste of time for that little dog and what he meant to me, you know. So I've just been training and working hard and trying to better myself. That's how I've dealt with it, you know.
Do those dark moments and those traumas, especially losing your dog, does that motivate you and fuel you? Like, you tap into your dark side, especially in the ring?
Yeah, like, I feel ready. You know, I've been working so hard on my nutrition, my strength training, and putting in so much work that by the time my fight comes, that I believe it's going to be one of my better performances, even at the age I'm at now, because I haven't drunk or done cocaine for over 2 years now, you know, and I think that's going to show him, like, it's hard to keep your body intact when you're abusing it with drugs and alcohol, and then the food that comes with that lifestyle. You know, so I'm excited, man, to unleash the final version of myself.
You're looking fit, bro. You're looking ready to go, man. Especially for someone, like, you're not old, but a lot of people your age, bro.
For boxing.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, I've really looked after myself in the last 2 years. I've always trained, always been a trainer. Even after benders, I've trained, I've ran. Don't know how, but training's never been the issue. It's always what I do outside of the gym that's been an issue. And I've really, my sleep now, I'm managing to get a lot of sleep overnight and monitoring everything, So you see a very good version.
What's next for you after you hang up the gloves? You mentioned you want to have a family, but in terms of maybe business or anything else?
Yeah, I'd like to open up a boxing centre here in Sydney. I have one in Tasmania. I'd like to open up a boxing studio and have a program for troubled youth. And obviously they don't have to pay nothing, but they've got to be on like a scholarship thing, where there's rules and regulations that they have to go to school. And if they don't go to school, they get marked down, and if there's a few certain marks, they can't be at the gym. And trying to help people that just come out of jail, or kids that are probably going to jail. We'll work a system out that instead of going to jail, they get to come and train with us. We could have beds there. We could have a system in place where, instead of going to Ashley's or something, or the community, the kids' jail, they come and train, and just give them an opportunity to better themselves, because a lot of kids, have a shit upbringing and they're just very rebellious. And I believe if something like that was around for me, then it probably would have saved me a little bit sooner.
It's all they need is opportunity.
Yeah, and just some structure and guidance, some love.
Yeah, it's a big area. Like a lot of these kids get sent to juvie and it's not helping them. It's just creating more demons in their head.
They get abused, sexually abused in that. They get sexually abused, they get raped at a place where they're supposed to be going to be fucking sort of looked after and treated, to rehabilitate them, and they get raped and fucking, it's disgusting, and then they leave there worse, So that shit needs to stop. And I'd like to be a voice there to try and help the kids coming through and do what I can, That'd be amazing.
Let's go one more question. 122. What's your pick?
7-8.
Is your lucky number 7 by any
chance?
How well do you know yourself?
I know myself really well, especially now, especially doing 2 years of sobriety. You get to dig right down into the bottom pits of your stomach and soul to feel all your emotions, and instead of trying to hide away from them, from drugs and alcohol, I just got to feel them, man. And like for me to cry, my girlfriend never seen me show emotion as in like that. And, I don't give a fuck who I cry in front of now. If I feel like crying, I'm going to cry. There's nothing wrong with it. It's normal. It's part of our life. But I had this thing in my head where I'm not going to cry. Not even around. If no one's there, I'm not going to cry. I'm fucking not going to do that. But it's not the way to be. Let yourself be whatever you feel at that time. And if you feel like crying, fucking cry. And if you feel like laughing. If I feel I know myself better. I know when I'm at breaking point. I know when I need to take a rest. I had a problem with overtraining as well, but I think I was burning the candle at both ends, I was partying like a fucking demon and training like a demon, There's no time to do anything else, so I feel I know myself really well now. Obviously, there's a lot more to learn, and you never stop learning, but I'll continue to learn, continue to grow, and continue to try and better myself and be a better person for the people around me,
So who is Luke Jackson in this moment right now?
Luke Jackson is just a good person that tries his best to care for others and give his best. I'm just going to give my best at whatever I choose to do, and just be where my feet are. Be present. Be present in the moment, and not look too far forward and not look too far back, because we get caught up in that. We worry about what happened in the past and we worry about what's happened in the future, but I just try and be where my feet are and just be present in every opportunity and don't wish time away. You know, try and enjoy every moment.
What does the present moment mean to you?
The present moment just means whatever, you know, whatever's in front of you. If I'm here with you, I'm really focused on doing this with you. You know, I'm not thinking something else. If I'm at home with my girlfriend, I'm there with her. If I want to play a game of chess on my phone, I'm playing the game of chess. If I'm at work, I'm at work. If I'm going for a run, just really be there. Obviously, your mind wanders a lot, but mind wanders. I try to do too many things at once sometimes, you know. And I'm just really trying to work on being present. Like, I've never been any good at reading a book, but I've read Costa Zoo books. It's the only book I've ever read, Costa Zoo and a Martin Bryant book years ago. And I'm currently reading a book at the minute. So just trying to be present. And if I'm reading the book, I'm trying to focus on reading the book and just be there, you know?
Do you do like meditation, breath work, ice baths, all that?
I love ice baths, and meditation's very hard for me as well, but I do it, yeah.
Well, why is it hard? Because your mind's just got 100 million eyes out.
Like it's just going all over the place.
Can't sit still.
It's just going all over the place, but that's okay because that's what meditation is. You're allowed to do that. Once you understand that your mind is supposed to wander and just be present, try your best to keep coming back to the present moment. When your mind does wander, then that's okay. You're doing your best.
That's it. Yeah, the way that I kind of got taught around meditation was pretend you laid under a tree and the clouds are going past. Every cloud is a thought.
Yeah.
Just watch it come in and go out. Just let it go.
Okay.
Don't attach yourself to any thought. Just let
it come through, baby.
Because we have thousands of thoughts a day.
Yeah. Mate. Madness.
And our thoughts aren't our identity.
No. You got to man, just enjoy life. It's a short journey, you know. It feels long, but it's going to be over soon for everyone.
Especially when you have kids, bro. It goes quick.
Can't imagine.
Luke, we have a closing tradition on the podcast where the previous guest leaves a question for the next guest without knowing who it is. So the question for you is, who's the most inspirational person in your life? Why are they, and what did you learn from them?
The most inspirational person in my life. The most inspirational person in my life would have to be my nan. My nan is 96 in November, and she is the strongest person I know. She just doesn't know when to give up. You know, she just keeps going. She's been through she had health battles. She's raised, 11 children. Her husband died, and then she got with another guy, and he left her, and she just looked after all the kids and was the best mum, the best nan to me. I call her every day on the phone. She's back in Tasmania whenever I'm down there. I go and visit her. And she knits these little teddy bears for the little kids in Papua New Guinea. And she sends these over every year, and she's been doing it for like 15 years now. And she always complains that, she can't get enough done. Like she's trying to knit that because every year she can only manage a couple less because she's getting older.
Yeah.
But, every time I go in to see her down in Tasmania, I walk in and she's there knitting away, making these little teddy bears for these little children in Papua New Guinea. So she's the strongest and most inspirational person I've ever met, and someone that's really showed me some love in my life, which is amazing,
What's the biggest lesson you've learned from her?
That's the biggest lesson I've probably learned from my nan is that, if you want something, you got to work for it. Like she's a hard worker, man. She's a very hard worker, and if you want something, you got to go and get it. And that's what she had to do, raising all them kids and working full time, and it's a tough job by herself, So she's taught me that, hard work.
Luke, thank you so much for making the trip out here, man. It's been a great conversation. I look forward to seeing your last fight, and when you announce it, I'll probably be around the same time as this podcast drops. So it'll be great timing for that. And man, you're going to go out with a bang. I feel it.
Let's do it, buddy.
Oh man, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bella. Appreciate it.
Guys, I've teamed up with Ty Leonards from Betar today. We had an amazing conversation and connection through our podcast, and we thought, you know what? let's take it further. Let's deepen this connection. And Ty's actually put together this journal. It's a 6-week journal. He's worked with psychologists, nutritionists, put together which I would call a mental fitness journal. It encapsulates everything that we speak about here at the Betar Project when it comes to mind, body, spirit. And I thought, you know what? We're so aligned here. Let's team up. These journals honestly take the stress out of accessing mental health education. And they give you a chance to learn what simple daily decisions can be impacting our mental health and how you can take the action to improve your mental fitness day in and day out. If you're interested, click the link in the description and use the discount code BETAR, that's BETAR, to receive 15% off.